happy to be here. We are the B-Side Growlers, and we do like to play old blues, jazz, and country. And so we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to start with an old jazz tune that you may recognize, and if you do, feel free to join in.
From 1933. So join in on the singing.
3, 4.
Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because these words were spoken. I love you, yes I do. I love you. If you break my heart, I'll die. So be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Woo! Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because these words were spoken. I love you, yes I do. I love you. If you break my heart, I'll die. So be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. It's a sin to tell a lie.
All right, thank you for singing along on that one. I heard a little bit there. So that was 1933. You know, that was a famous year. That's the year the Prohibition ended. So the next one is an old traditional. When they say traditional, that means the song goes way back where they don't even know the author anymore. It's been changed so many times.
Yes, and I've been dying to play this banjo for a long time now, so we're gonna play it
It's
tonight.
been a while.
It's been a while. So let's try this with Mary on the guitar.
An old country tune.
1, 2, 3.
Don't let your deal go down, little girl. Don't let your deal go down. Don't let your deal go down.
That's fun stuff right there. So, and you see, we do it off of one mic. We lean in and have a good time, and really close. So that's acoustic style, what we call.
We can't afford any more microphones. Than
That's
just
it,
one.
just one. And so this next one's kind of a jazz.
It's kind of a jazz bluesy thing from Louis Prima from the 50s. You may recognize it as well. He did it with a bunch of horns. We're going to do it with a bunch of strings and see if we can.
1956. Yes, I was -2.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, baby, baby, it looks like it's gonna hail. Oh, baby, baby, it looks like it's gonna hail. You better come inside, let me teach you how to jive and well. You gotta jump, jive, and then you wear. 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 Well, Papa's in the icebox looking for a can of ale. Papa's in the icebox looking for a can of ale. Mama's in the backyard learning how to jive and well. You gotta jump, jive, and then you wear. 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 You gotta jump, jive, and then you wear.
Thank you, guys.
A woman is a woman and a man ain't nothing but a male. A woman is a woman and a man ain't nothing but a male. One good thing about him, he knows how to jive and well. You gotta jump, jive, and then you wear. 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 Well, Jack and Jill went up the hill to get a pail. Jack and Jill went up the hill to get a pail. Jill stayed up, she wants to learn how to jive and well. You gotta jump, jive, and then you wear. 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 You gotta jump, jive, and then you wear.
There you go. We had a view from here. You can't quite see the dancers, but thank you for dancing back there. You guys, they got the hand signals and everything else going on. It's quite nice to see. My wife and I travel all over the country. Of course, so do Mary and Pete, and we go to all different music festivals all around and catch the old Americana history. But the Trivia Pursuit question tonight is, and it's right off of the game, you know, the game Trivia Pursuit, the hobo in King of the Road. You know, trailers for sale or rent. Where was the hobo bound? Destination.
Oh, I heard it.
Who got it? Right there. A piece of the pie goes out to that young lady right there. So we were up in Bangor, Maine, and I walked in the brewery with my guitar. Started singing this song, and everybody sang it with me. And guy jumps up, that's the song that put us on the map. And I didn't have to buy a beer all night. My wife didn't have to buy a beer all night. And so sing along with us. Roger Miller, 1964. I'll just walk us in. no phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of a pushing broom by 8 by 12 4-bedroom. Well, I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. Destination Bangor, Maine. Old worn out shirt and shoes. I don't pay no union dues. I smoke old stogies I have found. Short but not too big around. Well, I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents, no phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of a pushing broom buys 8 by 12 4-bedroom. Well, I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road, king of the road, king of the road.
All right, thanks for singing along on that one. That was awesome. So we're going to go from, that was kind of a popular country tune, what I would call a popular country tune. We're going to go back to some old country back in the 40s. There was a lot of brother duets. The Monroe Brothers, of course, pretty famous. Yeah, that goes back there too. There was a brothers called the Delmore Brothers, and they did a lot of great tunes. And they took this tune. You know the stride piano that the blues artists would do in the 30s and 40s, the boogie woogie piano? Well, they took it and put it on the strings, and they called it Hillbilly Boogie. And so this is a song called the Hillbilly Boogie. And on the record, actually, on the liner notes, it's a young Merle Travis that does the lead part, which is pretty cool. But I'm no Merle Travis, but we're gonna do it nevertheless. Boogie. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know a fella from that Alabama way, and he plays the blues in a different sort of way. He's got no piano to play 8 to the bar, so he picks out that rhythm on the old guitar. Plays the hillbilly boogie in a low-down way. Yes, he does. Plays the hillbilly boogie, play it for me any old day. Let's play that. Fellas, if your gal's kinda cold, she don't want your loving cause she thinks you're too old. Well, take her to the library, make it tonight, play some hillbilly boogie, then you'll do alright. Hillbilly boogie, in a low-down way, yes he does. Plays the hillbilly boogie, play it for me any old day. sort of way. He's got no piano to play to the bar, so he picks out that rhythm on his old guitar. Plays the hillbilly boogie in a low-down way. Yes, he does. Plays the hillbilly boogie right for me any old day. One more time. Plays the hillbilly boogie in a low-down way. Plays the hillbilly boogie right for me any old day. The hillbilly boogie.
All right. Hillbilly boogie. So,
Some diminished chords.
oh, that's fun. Now, the symbol on my shirt, if you recognize that, just raise your hand. Just want to see the age of the crowd out there, because you'll be amazed at how many places we go that they have no idea. One or two in the crowd, but. So yeah, if you remember that symbol and that you've used one before. So who raised their hand? Who did? So can you tell me what it is then? Yeah, 45 insert. Yep. So your 33 was this hole, and then the 45.
And that's where our name, we like to play the B side of the 45.
Flip it over.
So this is an old jazz tune we're gonna do. We've done a couple country. We're gonna go back to jazz. And that just means I get to play these chords that sound terrible when you just play them by themselves. But it sounds good in the song.
That's the chord.
It's good. And we're gonna play right now. 2, 3,
Everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. Nobody but me. Everybody wants my baby, but my baby don't want nobody but me. That's plain to see. When my baby kisses me upon my rosy cheeks, I just let those kisses be. Don't wash my face for weeks. That's why everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. Nobody but me. Everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. Nobody but me. Everybody wants my baby, but my baby don't want nobody but me. That's plain to see. He's got those easy movements, 20 years guaranteed. There's no need for improvement, my sweet baby's built for speed. Well, that's why everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. Nobody but me. Everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't love nobody but me. Nobody but me. Just me. Nobody but me. Just me. Nobody but me.
All right, that was from 1924, so that was getting back there pretty much. We've had the pleasure of taking these instruments, all of them just like this, down the subways and into New York City, and playing at Washington Square, and just having a good time in New York. And at Juilliard, we played there and on their sidewalks.
We tried to, yeah.
The only place they kicked us out of all of New York City was at the Mecca, the world center of all the music. And Yeah, it was kind of fun, but then they came along and said, no, you can't play here. This is Juilliard and the Opera House and all the fanciest musicians in the world. And the people that were watching said, but why?
So we did fit in kind of a little better over at Greenwich Village, which is kind of like ground zero for the folk movement in the 60s. And that's actually where this song comes from. We play a lot of old blues, jazz, and country and stuff, but this is our nod to the singer-songwriters, because that's where singer-songwriting really started with Bob Dylan and stuff. And so anyway, there was a guy, Fred Neal. He was the first one to invite Bob Dylan up on the open mic stage at the Cafe What. And he wrote this song, which you may recognize. This is our version of it. It's a folk song. We can change it a little bit.
Everybody's talking at me. I can't hear a word they're saying. Only the echoes in my mind. People stop and staring. I can't see their faces, only the shadows in their eyes. I'm going where the sun keeps shining through the pouring rain. Going where the weather suits my soul. Making over a northeast wind and sailing on a summer breeze. Skipping over the ocean like a stone. I'm going where the sun keeps shining through the pouring rain. Going where the weather suits my soul. Making over a northeast wind and sailing on a summer breeze. Skipping over the ocean like a stone. Everybody's talking at me. I can't hear a word they're saying. Only
So that was a thrill of a lifetime to play right there in Washington Square, right where all the old folkies, you know, Bob Dylan, Pete Seeger, all my heroes were right there. So that's what we get to. We're lucky we get to do that stuff.
Yeah, it's
Fortunate.
Fun. That's one of the reasons we do these old songs. Fun being part of the story.
Okay, so this next one, 1957, Webb Pierce. You know those dressed up country and western cowboy. I mean, they were dressed to the hilt, rhinestones, just beautiful. Just picture that on me. Yeah, rhinestones, and that's the era we're gonna play right now. Webb Pierce kind of took over for old Hank Williams Sr. after he left us so early.
I got me a room in a cheap hotel. My head was spinning, I didn't feel well. I laid right down and tried to go to sleep, but the band kept playing in the joint underneath. I picked up my pillow and covered my head, but the band kept playing and shaking my bed. Honky tonk all night long. Honky tonk, that same old song. Honky tonk, well my money's all gone. Honky tonk, 'cause he done me wrong. I turned and I tossed, but I couldn't go to sleep. But the band kept playing that honky tonk beat. Well, I'm so blue, my baby's gone. He took all my money and left me all alone. I try to forget him, but I don't know what to do. That honky tonk song keeps coming through. I picked up my pillow and covered my head, but the band keeps playing and shaking my bed. Honky tonk all night long. Honky tonk, that same old song. Honky tonk, well my money's all gone. Honky tonk, 'cause he done me wrong. I turned and I tossed, but I couldn't go to sleep, 'cause the band kept playing that honky tonk beat. Honky tonk all night long. Honky tonk, that same old song. Honky tonk, well my money's all gone. Honky tonk, 'cause it done me wrong. I turned and I tossed, but I couldn't go to sleep, 'cause the band kept playing that honky tonk beat.
All right. So you all recognize this instrument right there, of course, right? Yeah, that's what you call it. We call it a fiddle, the way he plays it. He's just fiddling. So thank you for singing along. Any song we do, please sing along if you feel the need to. Pete Seeger, he said, if it wasn't interactive and the people aren't in it, then it's not music. So thank you for doing that. This next song comes out of Detroit. Anybody know the famous studio down there? Motown, right? So this is just before, 6 months before Motown was started. It was Hitsville, USA. If you ever get a chance to go down to Detroit and go through Hitsville and Motown, they have a museum there. It's wonderful. You get to stand right where Michael Jackson sang and all the, then they had, all of a sudden you drive in Detroit and, you know, you're seeing these industrial areas and this, you know, this rundown stuff. And all of a sudden there's like 6 houses, perfect, right in a row. So Barry Gordy bought the first house, the second house. As he got bigger and bigger, the second. And there's still a beautiful museum. So get down there.
Yeah, it's fun.
And this song, Barry Gordy, you know, they're standing around saying, hey, what do you want? What would you like? And he said, I just give me money. And that's how this song was. You'll remember it from the Beatles.
But written in Detroit.
Written in Detroit, that's right.
Detroit, that's fine.
So I get to play Paul McCartney's part, but we're going to do the old style, the old Detroit style.
Let's go ahead, man.
1, 2, 3, oh.
Best things in life are free. You can't get them for the birds and the bees. Now give me money.
What I want,
That's what I want.
what I want,
That's what I want. That's what I want. Your loving gives me a thrill, but your loving don't pay my bills. Now give me money.
what I want,
That's what I want.
what I want,
That's what I want. That's what I want. Money don't get everything, it's true. What it don't get, I can't use. Now give me money.
what I want,
That's what I want.
what I want,
That's what I want. That's what I want. Money don't get everything, it's true. What it don't get, I can't choose. Now give me money.
what I want,
That's what I want.
what I want,
That's what I want. That's what I want. Now give me money.
what I want,
Lots of money.
what I want,
Now give me money.
what I want,
Lots of money.
what I want,
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Good job, Mayor.
Well, thank you very much. So that's a
Got
little
it.
Michigan. Well, I'm a little out of breath.
Yeah. But us being teachers and librarians, we certainly don't do it for the money.
No.
Enjoyment, you know.
By the way, I was pointing out that Samantha earlier was pointing out the book display over there. Awesome. So that's you get music, you get literature. It's like pictures on the wall. This is like all the arts, all the humanities.
All of it. So this next song is a national song written, and you'll all recognize it, back in the 70s. But there was a famous guitar manufacturer down in Kalamazoo. Anybody know who made guitars down there? And Gibson, the Gibson Guitar Factory. And so for many years, and the smokestack is still there. They're trying to save it. It says Gibson on it, and it's dilapidated, but they're trying to save it. So and I hope they do. But when they made a cheap guitar, they wouldn't put inexpensive. Sorry, they wouldn't because I'd like to have one now, but they wouldn't put Gibson on it. They would write Kalamazoo. So if you have a Kalamazoo across there, so this song has the poor boy twanging his rhythm out on his Kalamazoo.
That's right. And these poor boys, and they have washboards and everything. So this song just seemed to kind of fit. Sorry.
Ready?
See?
Yeah.
just about supper time. Over by the courthouse, they are starting to unwind. 4 kids on the corner, they're trying to bring you up. Willie picks a tune out and it blows it on the harp. Oh, down on the corner, out in the street, Willie and the poor boys are playing. Bring a nickel, tap your feet. Rooster hits the washboard, people just gotta smile. A Blinky thumps a gut bass and he solos for a while. Poor boy twangs a rhythm out on his Kalamazoo. A Willie goes into a dance, he doubles on kazoo. Oh, down on the corner, out in the street, Willie and the poor boys are playing. Bring a nickel, tap your feet. Just to hang around. But if you got a nickel, won't you lay your money down? Over on the corner, there's a happy noise. People come from all around just to watch those magic boys. Oh, down on the corner, out in the street, Willie and the poor boys are playing. Bring a nickel, tap your feet. Down on the corner, out in the street, Willie and the poor boys are playing. Bring a nickel, tap your feet. Down on the corner, out in the street, Willie and the poor boys are playing. Bring a nickel, tap your feet. I love learning and you know, the words to the songs and figuring out why they wrote them and how and what they mean. So, Big Bill Brunsey, we're gonna do the Mountain Blues, featuring Mary on the harmonica. So we like to mix it up. If you notice, this guitar piece playing all metal. So look at the heavy metal guitar, heavy on your shoulder, but it's got the resonator in it, and it's made for sound projection.
Right, it's just like the inside of your old speaker columns, you know, just to project it out, that metal body.
Made in the 30s by my ancestors, the Dobro brothers. They're from Czechoslovakia. But it has a sound. Let's hear the sound, just strong. It has that old style sound. I've got, of course, they only let me play the bass. That's all I get. And Mary, she plays it all. So on this one, we're going to feature her. Big Bill Brunsey used to come to Michigan every once in a while and play some music. Out of Chicago, he would come down to Buttermilk Jamboree. What do they call that place? Circle Pines Theater down there. So this is old.
It's actually, I see a couple books back there on the Delta Blues. Just one last little story is back in the 30s in Carnegie Hall, they had a famous concert called From Spiritual to Swing. And it was the first time they had the swing art, the swing players and the jazz players and the blues players, and they were going to have Robert Johnson play the stage. And of course, he passed away just before the shows, and so they actually had Big Bill Brunsey play it. So he's been around. He was around a long time and did this great stuff
At Carnegie Hall?
at Carnegie Hall.
Woo!
So little Big Bill Brunsey.
Pete said he wanted a harp song. He's my husband, so I do what he asks. Here we go. Now one of these mornings, it won't be long. You're gonna look for me, baby, and I'll be gone. You know, gonna leave here in the morning. I'm going way out west. I'm going up to the mountains while the eagle builds his nest. My home ain't here, I ain't gonna stay. My man done got so he just treats me any old way. You know I'm gonna leave here in the morning. I'm going way out west. I'm going up to the mountain while the eagle builds his nest. Now listen here, baby, let me tell you a thing or two. You go find another woman, cause I'm through with you. You know I'm gonna leave here in the morning. I'm going way out west. I'm going up to the mountain while the eagle builds his nest. If I could holler like a mountain jack, when I got to the mountain I would call my baby back. You know I'm gonna leave here in the morning. I'm going way out west. I'm going up to the mountain while the eagle builds his nest.
All right, that's fun stuff. You know, bare bones too. We've got just three of us on stage, just playing our hearts out. And this is the next country tune, 1949. Actually, this is Bill Monroe. Bill Monroe. So he's the father of bluegrass. And he played a mandolin. But we're going to take it back a little further than that. And Pete is playing the hammer style, claw hammer style banjo tonight. That means your finger is in a claw and you pick all the melody out. You don't move it. Pick it out of the claw. Not the bluegrass style like Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs, but the claw hammer. So that's even older. And it
I
goes.
think he's got to tune it right now.
Oh, banjos. You ever know a banjo that was out of tune?
I tell you.
All of
You
them.
don't want to hear
All
out
of
tune. I have to spend half my time tuning it and the other half playing out of tune. So.
That's right. Banjos are notorious.
Yeah, so we're going to take the bluegrass tune and make it old-timey. Little Bill Monroe, that's right.
Yeah.
2, 3.
The days are dark and the nights are lonely since you left
Creole.
Oh. Good old Bill Monroe. It's some good music, this old American. That's why we bring it up, listen to it, and keep it alive, folks. Keep it alive. This is like playing on your front porch. You know, we played there for years.
That's exactly what it is.
We were
So,
speaking about the book back there.
yeah,
with
that Delta Blues. This truly is an old blues tune. It was first recorded in 1927 by a guy named Mississippi John Hurt.
those nicknames.
And yeah, Mississippi John Hurt. And it's actually just a beautiful love song. You don't come across too many of them in the old blues stuff because mostly it's double entendre kind of
And
stuff.
of course, Pete's singing the nice love
Yeah,
song.
the nice love song.
These
And
are the other ones, you know.
and then that folk revival we talked about in the 60s, someone actually thought about, hey, is Mississippi John Hurt still around? And they actually went down there, and he was still dirt poor down there, 1961, and they brought him back up, and he kind of had his second claim to fame, and he played the Newport Folk Festival and stuff. So anyway, this is Creole Belle. You had a girlfriend down there, I guess, in Mississippi. My Creole Belle, well, I love her well. She's my darling baby, you know, she's my Creole Belle. When those stars do shine, I'm gonna make her mine. She's my darling baby, you know, she's my Creole Belle. I got a house in the country, big old garden out back. There's blues on the Victrola, and what you think about that? My Creole Belle, well, I love her well. She's my darling baby, you know, she's my Creole Belle. Oh, my Creole Belle, she loves me well. She's my darling baby, you know, she's my Creole Belle. And when those stars do shine, I'm gonna make her mine. She's my darling baby, you know, she's my Creole Belle. I got a house up in Greenville, big old garden out back. And there's blues at the library tonight, what you think about that? My Creole Belle, well, I love her well. She's my darling baby, you know, that's my Creole Belle. One more time.
That's Delta Blues right there with that picking.
That might be the last one. Might be the last one.
All right. Do
No, that's, yeah, that's. Let's do that.
Which one?
That's all right.
Oh, yeah, okay.
that's all right.
Sorry,
Mama?
the organization got switched.
All right, so
Good,
you,
yeah.
you get down to Memphis, they have a couple of famous studios. Sun Records. If you ever get a chance to go down there, you get to stand right there where Elvis had his microphone, and the microphone's still there. So you get to sing right there, stand right there. And so Elvis was playing around first time in the studio down there with a few friends, musician friends, and Sam Phillips, he didn't find a record yet. He said, no, they didn't have anything yet. And old Elvis says, well, let's just play this old Billy Boy Crudup song I heard 1946, and they started playing it. Sam Phillips clicked on the recorder. And this is Elvis's first record. And so sing with us. 1, 2.
You just step right up there, man.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Well, that's all right, Mama. That's all
Wow, thanks so much. Hey, we want to really thank the Greenville Library for inviting us up here, and mostly thank you folks for coming out and supporting live music. That's important stuff. And we'd like to finish up here. I got one last one. It's an old gospel tune from Sister Rosetta Tharpe. And Sister Rosetta Tharpe, well, Matt will tell you a little bit about her, but the one thing that's important about her is that finally this year she's being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as an originator of, an inspiration for the rock and roll. So she's one of the real deals.
Well, we're going to put our CDs in the box out in that lobby out there for you to look at. Sister Rosetta Tharpe is on our blog site. So take one of our cards, look up our website. Pete writes a blog about some of these songs if you want to hear the history, and then it'll show you what she looked like with an S.G. Gibson. She was a rocker, godmother of soul. She was actually Johnny Cash's favorite singer. He used to just tune in the radio and listen to Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Well, up above my head, there's music in the air. Well, up above my head, there's music in the air. Well, up above my head, there's music in the air. I really do believe there's a joy somewhere. Well, all over this room, there's music in the air. Well, all over this room, there's music in the air. Well, all over this room, there's music in the air. I really do believe there's a joy somewhere. I really don't believe there's a joy somewhere. Well, all over this world, there's music everywhere. Well, all over this world, there's music in the air. Well, all over this world, there's music in the air. I really don't believe there's a joy somewhere. Well, up above my head, there's music in the air. Well, up above my head, there's music in the air. Well, up above my head, there's music in the air. I really do believe there's a joy somewhere. Well, up above my head, there's music in the air. I really do believe there's a joy somewhere.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you, folks. Thank you. We're going to be tearing down, and if you have any questions, come on up and ask, and we'll take that out there. And look, there's cookies and refreshments,
So
and
we gotta be out by 8.
We've got 26 minutes.
26 minutes. So, and if anybody out there just has to play the bass, just have to come up and feel this. There are people that just want to touch it. Come on up and try the bass. Standing ovation right there. Oh, and don't forget to fill out your cards for the library, if you would, please. Just a quick hello or good or bad or just some feedback for them. They would really enjoy that.